Congresswoman Jayapal, welcome back to the Saturday Show.
Thank you, Jonathan. Always great to see you.
So before we begin, I want to get your thoughts on the latest news about the Supreme Court's move to protect mifepristone. You've been very open in the past about your own experience.
Well, that's right. I am one of the 1 in 4 women across the country who has had an abortion. I know how important it is to keep abortion safe and legal. And that's actually what the majority of the American people want. And I think that the Supreme Court ruling, as Minnie so eloquently said in the segment before, makes mifepristone safe and accessible across the country now, but we still are not out of the water. And the reality is that if there's an abortion ban in place in any state across the country, that's still in place. We know that they might continue to go after mifepristone and mifepristone. And that's why you see Democratic governors starting to stockpile these drugs, because it is the most widely used means of abortion across the country today.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the legislation that passed the House on trans athletes. Why is Speaker McCarthy doing that and not doing what he's already late doing, which is a budget for the next fiscal year?
Well, exactly right. I mean, look, the reason that they're leaning into these bills that do absolutely nothing for the American people's real problems and just elevate this, culture war is because they don't have any solutions for the actual issues that they need to deal with. They're not doing a budget. They haven't done anything to improve healthcare access. They haven't done anything to bring costs down for the American people. In fact, they've gone the opposite direction, Jonathan, and they've been, passing their first bill was to strip away the money for the IRS that would have gone after the wealthiest tax cheats in the country. So this is the Republican Party of today, not doing anything to answer the American people. Cruel, extreme, unworkable proposals.
Your daughter is trans. As the Republicans wage a culture war on the LGBTQ community, what kind of conversations are you having at home?
It's tough. I think for a lot of young trans people across the country, the trans community in general, but particularly for young people, this is, they feel like they are being told they don't belong, that they're not worthy of the same rights and dignity as everybody else. And honestly, it's making them really lose faith in government, because the idea that government would come along and tell people that in schools we're going to examine you and your reproductive anatomy in order to determine whether or not you're a female is just insane. And so I think that they, for my daughter and for many of her friends, it's a very sad moment. And as you know, trans youth are about 82% have suicide ideation. 75% have experienced discrimination or harassment, and almost half have actually attempted suicide. So this is a terrible bullying that we are doing to our kids across the country. And it's just, again, extreme and cruel.
Mm-hmm. Congresswoman, Republicans know this bill is not going to become law. So what political advantage do they see in doing it anyway?
Well, they're trying to distract the American people from the fact that they don't have any real solutions to address the issues that people have. And they're trying to use trans kids, women who, decide that they want to have freedom, reproductive freedom, as political footballs. And this is their medication, if you will, for the fact that they literally cannot govern in a way that helps people's lives. Mm-hmm.
We've got about a minute left, but the other big news that could be happening next week, President Biden is expected to announce his bid for re-election in 2024. There are polls out that are saying that Democrats maybe want somebody else to run. Talk to those Democrats who are looking for somebody else about why you think, if you think, the president deserves re-election.
I do think he deserves re-election. I've been public about this, even though he wasn't my first choice in the last election in the primary. I have been really amazed at how much this president has gotten done on the economic front. The biggest infrastructure investment ever, the biggest investment in taking on climate change. You know, we have created enormous numbers of new jobs. We're bringing manufacturing back to the United States again. We are doing so many things that I didn't think really was possible, and it's because of the president's leadership on all of these issues. So let's give him another chance, because we need to finish the job. We need universal child care, universal paid leave, free community college, all the things that were part of Build Back Better that we passed in the House that didn't get through the Senate. And I know that this president is really committed to that.